everyone, welcome back to Newsroom. I'm Chella Smith. This is your Middle East U.S. entertainment news here on YouTube. I air on Fridays. I bring you the latest on reforms and economics of Iraq based on reports put out by the Middle East news media outlets. I do this weekly review and it's based off my interest. Thank you everyone for joining me. Last week I was not here on Friday. I had a family emergency and became overwhelmed with personal responsibilities. However, I couldn't be here on YouTube. I did make an opinion-based show to make up for my absence regarding XRP Dinar that showed up on Coinbase. I posted that extra link to the community feed so that way you guys can all explore those links that I found. The video made can be seen free of charge to Patreon for free members of Patreon. I wanted to also remind everyone, June, I will be leaving for vacation, so I'll be taking a break from YouTube during that time. However, I will be making updates on Patreon only for paid members. If you subscribe by the end of May, June's billing will be paused for those who are subscribed by the end of May. I'll update in my downtime. However, it is my vacation and I'm planning to pay attention to my family during that time, but I wanted to give everyone a heads up. I may go live to share my beautiful scenery to reset as always. And enough about all that. Let's get right into this week's headlines. There's a lot going on in the news this week. The parallel market dollar exchange rate is progressively approaching the official rate. Mauser Mohammed Shaleh, advisor to Prime Minister for Financial Affairs, has warned that the danger of the exchange rate fluctuation is demand for floating the dinar are met. He stated that it calls for floating the dinar may be a possibility in the economics where the free market influences the balance of payments, not in the economy where the rentier government sector dominates and government currencies reserves. Shaleh also warns that the dollar exchange rate in parallel markets is gradually approaching the official one, and that the new exchange rate resulting from fluctuating is unpredictable. The Monetary Authority foreign exchange shortage was caused by compliance platforms and administrative audit restrictions, not a shortage in reserves. Iraq's high foreign reserves has the highest commercial efficiency in financial history, covering over 16 months of imports compared to its global standards. Economist Mohammed Hashim Hala has started the Central Bank of Iraq cannot float the dinar exchange rate due to potential disruption of other economic tools. Hala argues the abandonment of the exchange rate would be an economic suicide, as it is the normal proof of monetary policy in Iraq. Hala also warned that the float in the exchange rate with a parallel market and large speculators could lead to sharp currency declines, high inflation, and high prices. Well, what is a floating exchange rate? A floating exchange rate is determined by supply and demand in the open markets, allowing countries to manipulate the currency prices for international trade. It's gained popularity after the gold standards. You can learn more about this floating rate on Newsroom Chella Smith on Patreon, where we talk about more than just the dinar, including other international currencies, blockchain, precious metals, and more. And Kurdistan 24 reports Iraq's oil ministry, Hayan Abdul Ghani, announced that the production and exports of oil from the Kurdistan regional fields will resume. APICUR expresses its support for the establishment of Baghdad Herbal Committees. The Association of the Petroleum Industry of the Kurdistan, APICUR, supports the formation of Baghdad Herbal Committees to restore oil exports through the Iraq-Turkey pipeline, awaiting international oil companies' involvement. Speaking about exchange rates and oil, the budget for 2024 includes recent updates on the exchange rate and barrels of oil changes. Chairman of Parliamentary Planning Committee, Mohammed Karim, confirms that this year's budget will proceed after completing changes in the schedule for provincial and ministry projects. He stated that the exchange rate of the dollar, barrel of oil, and exports quantity will remain unchanged from last year's budget. Changes to schedules will include projects of ministries and governorates according to the government program requirements. And the Sudanese arrive in Riyadh to participate in the World Economic Forum. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia Sudani arrives in Riyadh on Saturday to participate in the World Economic Forum hosted by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia under the slogan Internal Cooperation, Growth and Energy for Development. The forum aims to support global dialogue and to find solutions to common global challenges with the participation of government and the private sector, international organizations, and economic institutions from 92 countries. The Saudis will hold meetings with country leaders and representatives of major international companies in the energy and digital technology field. Speaking about the World Economic Forum, I noticed Ripple being a partner with the World Economic Forum, seeing XRP Dinar trades on exchange platforms, and we're wondering, is the World Economic Forum the link between the digital transfer systems in Iraq? I guess only time will tell. And the Sudanese has concluded his visit to Saudi Arabia and now is returning to Baghdad. Prime Minister al-Sudani returns to Baghdad after attending the World Economic Forum hosted by Saudi Arabia, where he held meetings with various country leaders, including the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Speaking of those digital transfer systems, the Sudanese have successfully implemented digitalization through the use of banks. Sudan's advisor to Prime Minister Amir al-Abdab has announced that the Sudanese government is working on creating special digital banks to enhance the digital transformation of government banks. Al-Adad highlighted the importance of information technology and cybersecurity in the Knowledge Economy Project, highlighting the challenges faced by government banks and systems, governments, and human resources. The Sudanese government is also training employees on the Asakuta system to improve employee experience and work efficiency. The Trade Bank of Iraq has decided to cease collecting commissions of 5 banking services. The Council of Ministers in Baghdad has approved a contract with the external auditors for Trade Bank of Iraq to audit its bank accounts. The agreement was approved within the framework of financial and administrative reform decisions related to banking sector reforms. The bank deals with networks of reputable international banks. The Council of Ministers chaired the 18th regular session held on Tuesday. And the Iraqi Council of Ministers has issued an economic decision and obligated governance to develop a 5-year reconstruction plan during the 18th regular session. The council approved recommendations for monitoring energy projects and implementing government programs. The first recommendation involving signing a contract for the Mansouriya gas fields between the Minister of Oil and the Central Oil Company and a consortium of Chinese, JERA, and Petro Iraq companies. The second recommendation amends the mechanisms for implementing social benefit projects for licensing round contracts. The third recommendation involves a tender for diesel stations operating and maintenance. The council approved several changes to the Iraq Development Road projects, including allowing the Minister of Transport to contract Oliver Wyman Company for consulting services, exempting the project from listing requirements and recouping consultation contract fees. The council also approves the minutes of meetings for property number 4-20264M11 Hammy Farm, allowing the Minister of Youth and Sports to manage the property and coordinating with the state real estate department. The Prime Minister directed a draft law amendment to be sent to the State Council for review. And I wasn't here last week to talk about al-Sudani's visit to Washington, so let's talk about it. Al-Sudani is set to convene a meeting to review the outcome of Washington's visit and provide advisors with guidance. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia Sudani chairs a meeting with advisors to follow up on the outcome of Washington's visit. The meeting discussed the implementation of agreements and understandings concluded by the Iraqi delegation with American sides, including the relationship with the United States. The meeting also discussed the results of Supreme Coordinating Committee, the the HCC meeting, which will focus on activating the framework agreement between Iraq and the United States. The Iraqi private sector also discussed the economic partnership files with major American companies. Al-Sudani stressed the importance of following up on the understanding to arrange bilateral relations in its highest interest of Iraq. He directed advisors to prioritize follow-ups on the outcome of the Washington visit, appointing a special secretariat for the HCC and focusing on periodic meetings to follow up and review the progress. And you've been watching Newsroom Weekly Review. I'm Chella Smith with your Middle East U.S. entertainment news on reforms and economics of Iraq. I bring you the latest in our news without having to keep up with all the different outlets. I'm here on YouTube every Friday, so don't forget to subscribe and turn those notification bells on. If you like my content, give me a thumbs up. If you really like my content, you can always seed a super chat or a super thanks in the comment section below. Well, we made it to May and spring is officially here. I've been working in the garden. If you're working in your garden, post some of those plants and vegetables that you're growing below. If you're even just using planters, I want to hear all about it. Again, thank you for being a subscriber and thank you for visiting Newsroom Chella Smith for your trusted Dinar News. I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Make sure you join us Fridays, 4 p.m. with Newsroom Updates with Chella Smith Entertainment News.